strange man sits alone on a park bench. A storm is on the horizon. Nobody around has any idea what's coming. What happens next? Time to find out.
A rumble in the distance, deep and foreboding, accompanied the intense clouds gathering on the horizon. Decker had been expecting this for quite some time, but held out hope that his pessimistic anticipation was misdirected. A storm, similar to the approaching tempest, had taken his father and grandfather before him. Was it misguided of him to wish that he would be spared the same fate? Decker's eyes surveyed the cheerful pack before him. To the left was a playground filled with sticky-handed toddlers blissfully ignorant of what life would be like in a few years. Mothers stood in packs, shooting judgmental glances at each other, no doubt evaluating the parenting abilities of those around them. Meanwhile, their own children shoveled sand into their mouths and removed their clothing as the maternal eye looked elsewhere. The clouds were closer now, and Decker could see flashes of lightning from the heart of the storm. A vigorous rumble shook his field of vision as the storm gained strength, and a stabbing pain shot through his left temple. Decker clenched his eyes shut against the pain, which quickly withdrew. What were these people thinking? They continued their activities blind to the approaching gale. Couples strolled the paths hand in hand, sweaters tied around their waists as they enjoyed the most unseasonably warm autumn sunshine. Responsible pet owners walked their dogs proudly, stopping at the park to allow the children to pet their companions and receive canine affection in return. The mothers would listen later as their children told them about the dog, and the mothers would assume their baby had an active imagination, as the dog had gone unseen to them and surely they had been paying attention to their child. Decker had not always been so cynical, but he could feel his view of humanity shifting as the storm rolled ever closer. A raindrop hit the back of Decker's hand, and another on the back of his neck. It would not be long now before a downpour enveloped the park, and yet no one fled. No continuous eyes flicked toward the sky, deciding it was probably time to head back to the car. Another migraine-esque spasm rocked Decker's skull, this time causing him to cry out in agony. This drew the attention of the park patrons, which the storm had, to this point, evaded. As the wave retreated, a jogger stopped to ask Decker if he was all right. From his bench, Decker looked at the young woman, and as he did, he watched the expression on her face change from concern to terror. She took a few steps back from him, and then continued her jog, this time moving a little faster. Decker stood up, his eyes shifting from left to right as thunder shook the ground. He wanted to warn them, but there was no need. Now mothers were moving toward their children. Now couples put a little extra speed in their step as they moved toward the exits surrounding the park. It was not the sky which had drawn their attention, after all. It was a beautiful fall day, sun shining and not a cloud in the sky. It was the man who had been sitting on the bench. The man who had been quiet and gone unnoticed until moments ago when he had roared loudly as he clutched the sides of his head. As the storm clouds enveloped the sun, the world around Decker took on a strange red hue. The rain started to come down harder, darkening the concrete pathway on which he stood and dampening his clothes. Decker could feel his heart rate increasing as his eyes shifted faster, searching for the unfortunate one, the one about to be consumed by the monsoon. Lightning flashed and Decker went to his knees. He felt as though his head would explode, and his screams were drowned out by the blast of thunder none of the innocent bystanders could hear or ignore. Now they were running, as Decker slowly climbed back to his feet. Now they had realized that their sunny day was about to be drowned. Now they recognized the probable danger. Now the storm had arrived.